How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be doing my review for The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 8, which is the Season 3 finale, and this was titled Chapter 24, The Return. Now, overall, I thought it was a decent finale, and going into it, I was maybe overhyping things a little bit, and I did come out slightly disappointed, I'll be honest. However, yeah, I still thought it was decent. I liked it. It made complete sense for the story to go this direction, but I will say, some of the hubbub online going into this finale, there was a lot of different conversations being had talking about whether Din was going to die, if Grogu was going to die, which I think that is a bit extreme, and I didn't want those characters to die, and obviously, thankfully they didn't. But there was also some conversations being had about whether or not Grogu would maybe say his first words in this episode. I saw some of that online. And I don't know, the conversation just going into this finale really got me hyped for this episode. And I was really looking forward to it. So perhaps I did kind of go in with too high of expectations because I was let down just a little bit. But it was still good, primarily because of the action sequences in this episode. They were pretty damn flawless, in my opinion. They were beautifully shot and executed overall, and just intense as hell to watch. There's so many to go over. The Mandalorians fighting the Dark Troopers, and they're all flying at each other was crazy. Mando versus Gideon was also super intense, while Grogu was fighting the Praetorian Guards, which, by the way, I was on the edge of my seat while watching that, I will say, because that was pretty nerve-wracking. Whoa. I was slightly worried for Grogu in that scene. I'm sure some people will clown on me for being so worried for him in that scene, but I was worried for Grogu when he was fighting the guards because I didn't know what direction exactly they were going to be taking, but I loved that scene. It was so good. Also, Bo-Katan versus Moff Gideon, that was fantastic. Her using the Darksaber, she really was the MVP of the episode, in my opinion. And I've been loving her this whole season. I've been loving her this whole season. She's been amazing, and her using the Darksaber was just badass. However, Moff Gideon ends up destroying the Darksaber. Pretty interesting. And I guess while we're on the topic of Moff Gideon, there's some pretty interesting things that occur in this episode. We find out that he is making these clones, but the big reveal is that he's trying to make them have the Force, something he never had, obviously. Very fascinating. I don't know exactly how all that works, but it's very cool. And when we see Mando ending up destroying all the clones in that room, although did he destroy all the clones? Did some get away? Because later in the episode, spoiler alert, of course, all my reviews are spoiler-filled, but Moff Gideon ends up dying. Presumably, I thought there was going to be a post-credit scene or something. I think they've done that before, especially in the Season 2 finale, that Boba Fett post-credit scene. And I was like, all right, maybe they'll do something. Was that a post-credit scene? I don't know. But maybe they'll do something like that with Moff Gideon. They didn't. I was scanning through the credits. I was looking through, trying to see if they were going to show anything with Moff Gideon, just because I doubt that he died. And if he is dead, I'll be okay with it, to be honest. I think we've gotten 3 solid seasons with him, and I doubt he's dead, though. I really do. I'm not that much of an idiot, I feel like, to believe that he isn't actually dead. Anyway, but nonetheless, that scene was really cool, where Grogu kind of defends Bo-Katan and Mando from the flames. That was really dope, to be honest. And also, Grogu was very good this episode, but he's always good, I feel like. Still funny, him using IG-12. No. It was very funny. I loved all that. Maybe it got a little old by the end, but overall, it was still funny. But yeah, that was really great. And by the end, we find out that Grogu is going to officially be Din's apprentice, a Mandalorian apprentice, and Din officially adopts him, which is pretty wholesome, and I really loved that moment. It was pretty impactful, to be honest. And, we've already known that Mando viewed him as a son this whole time, obviously. But I really loved that moment where he's finally like, I'm going to adopt him. And that was really cute. That was pretty special. But anyway, Mando then goes to Captain Carson, I think his name is, the pilot, and then he says he wants to basically work for the New Republic, case-by-case basis, he says. But that was pretty cool. Also, love the Dave Filoni cameo. You could tell with his hat. I noticed his hat in the background, and I was like, oh, Dave Filoni, when they were at that little bar. He was seated at the bar, and that was pretty funny. And then we found out IG-11 is back. He's rebuilt, which was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty special. I do like IG-11. I liked him in season 1, and I was sad when he died, of course, sacrificed himself. But that was pretty wholesome that IG-11's back. And it was just overall a happy ending with Mando sitting on his porch that he has now on Navarro. That Grief he gave him this new house, this cabin. And Grogu's just kind of outside playing with a frog. It was pretty wholesome. I've said that multiple times already. But I really did like that ending. I thought it made perfect sense for the story. I thought it was well executed overall just because I think we kind of deserve a dub after some of the stuff that went down with Gideon. I mean, that was a really long, extended battle sequence and pretty scary at moments. But, there were no major losses for the good guys in this. I mean, obviously, we had Paz Vizsla in the previous episode dying, and that was pretty upsetting. Still not really over that. And at one point, I thought maybe Bo-Katan was going to die when she was fighting Moff Gideon. That was pretty intense as well. But luckily, she didn't. And I'm glad she survived, and I'm glad that we kind of have this happy ending. However, in terms of some of the elements, I am slightly disappointed about, because I'm not going to give this like a 10 out of 10 rating. I mean, I usually don't rate episodes of my reviews, but, for the sake of this review, I guess I will. I'd probably give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It was decent for sure, but going into some of the aspects, well, the main aspect of this episode I was disappointed with. Mando didn't take off his helmet. We didn't get to see Pedro Pascal's wondrous face. I was a little disappointed with that, and I know that's very much a nitpick, and some would argue it didn't necessarily make sense for him to take his helmet off in this episode. I thought maybe they were going to do it at the end when he was sitting on the porch, but I guess Grogu was there. He wasn't completely alone, so I guess that wouldn't have worked, so he couldn't have taken his helmet off. But I was thinking, maybe they were going to do something like that. He was going to take his helmet off at the end. And I also thought maybe when he was captured by some of the Dark Troopers at Moff Gideon's base, that they were going to take his helmet off. That didn't happen either. And I'm surprised, actually, the episode starts off right after the events of the last one. And I'm surprised that he got rescued by Grogu so early. And that was really cool, though, that Grogu saved him. But I'm surprised. I was kind of, I don't know. This kind of subverted my expectations this episode in an interesting way, I guess you could say. Because it did give me some things I really enjoyed, of course, with all the action sequences. Also, when Din was working with R5 to take down the shields and he was fighting all those troopers, that was incredible stuff. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, I was kind of expecting this episode to go down a bit differently, and, maybe I'm a little disappointed Grogu didn't say his first words or something. Maybe they're saving that for, like, the series finale or something. Again, these are all kind of nitpicks, and really this just comes down to the fact that I kind of got my hopes up too high for the episode. I still like the episode, though. Again, I give it a 7 out of 10. Not bad rating, to be honest. And overall, the season was okay. It's definitely the weakest season so far. I mean, I'd be surprised if anyone says this is not the weakest season of the series, because seasons 1 and 2 I both really love. And I don't know if I necessarily love this season, but I've been fairly positive with it in my reviews because, at the end of the day, it's still pretty damn good Star Wars content. I've been enjoying it, and I did enjoy this finale for the most part. I just, maybe I would have liked to see Mando take his helmet off. Maybe something happened with Bo-Katan and Mando romantically. I don't know how that would have played out, but if Moff Gideon's actually dead, then that was a pretty big moment of the episode. And the good guys won. It was a happy ending. Again, what I'm trying to say is everything made sense for the story to end up in this sort of way and to be executed in this sort of way. And I really enjoyed it. The action at least. And I am glad that it was a happy ending. But that's really all I got to say about this episode and kind of my general thoughts on this season. I was thinking about maybe doing a season 3 review as a whole. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. I already kind of gave my thoughts on it just now, though. But I am definitely curious to see what you guys have to say about this episode. I don't know if it's kind of a controversial episode. I stayed off Twitter the whole day because I wasn't able to watch it until just a few minutes ago, really. And I was trying not to get spoiled because I thought maybe some major things were going to be happening in this episode. And, I didn't get spoiled for Gideon's death, so that's always a good thing. But, yeah, I mean, just let me hear your thoughts. And did you enjoy it? Were you at all disappointed with it? I don't know. I'd be curious to see what you guys have to say because, I don't know. I have heard some opinions on this season so far, and some people kind of have been disappointed, but some people like this season as well, and I like it for sure. But anyway, I'm just kind of jabbering on. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Check out my Letterboxd and Twitter in the description. Peace.